should have known better.
It's a bad business.
Been there, done.
Nothing amazing.
You can't rely on that.
Do you really believe that? That's really not my problem.
No. Hey, you!
Show me your wares.
May Enos watch over you always.
They're smashing each other's skulls!
Hey, you. Hey, you. Ever been to the monastery?
Maybe. Why?
Are they still taking on people? I wouldn't know where else to turn.
Where do you come from?
I used to be captain of a big whaler, my boy. The sea is my home. My ship, the good old Magdalena, was sunk by pirates a few months ago, and now I'm stranded here. All I ever wanted was to go back to sea. Since I've come here, not one schooner is called at this accursed port. The only ship which is anchored in Khorinis is that blasted war galley of the king, and they don't take on anyone. So what else can I do? There's no work for me in town. I've tried everything.
You'd better get off the road.
Don't worry. I've already noticed that the wilderness out here has become damn dangerous in the last couple of days.
I can hardly believe it. Are you really a paladin now?
Obviously.
If someone like you is with the paladins, then Beliar's thugs had better watch out. If you did in the sleeper, that handful of orcs shouldn't be a problem.
This is not only about the orcs.
I know, but it's still good to have you on our side.
Oh well.
What are you doing here in the monastery? Let me guess. You want to be instructed in the art of magic.
Perhaps.
I knew it. Best to talk to Marduk. He's responsible for you paladins. You'll find him in front of the chapel.
How did you get to the monastery so fast?
What kind of a question is that? I crept through the pass and made my way straight to the monastery. Admittedly, it was never easy avoiding all the monsters making themselves at home on this side of the valley, but ultimately I encountered fewer problems than I expected.
Do you know where the others are?
Gorn seems to have coped with his stay in Garan's dungeon very well. In any case, he wanted to go to Lee and see what was happening on the farm. After the grub they serve in the dungeon, he's probably stuffing his face right now and putting the mercenaries' provisions to a real test. Diego mumbled something about a reckoning. No idea what he meant by that. But I suspect he's in the city. You know him, always there when there's something to be had.
Do you know anything about the hooded figures?
No, but I have a bad feeling about those guys. Be careful if you run into them.
I need to get into the monastery. It's urgent.
Yes, sure. Here's the key. Nobody ever asks me.
That's no secret.
You have to feel sorry for the poor guy.
I see that you have decided to fight on our side.
All over again.
I am glad. We can use every man.
Possible.
You should go speak directly to Marduk. He is responsible for you paladins.
I never would have thought.
Where can I find...
Whole thing all over again.
There have been all kinds of rumors.
Been there, done
Have you
that.
got anything else for me?
Yes, as a member of the library,
Those are
you
all
are given the
just
key to the library. There you will find brothers Karis
Enos
and
deals out
Highgrass.
fair
If you like, you can speak with them there.
Nothing's ever gonna change that.
May Enos
Why that
protect you.
isn't true.
As if I don't have enough problems.
I couldn't get away with that.
I have come to take the Eye of Enos.
I see that you have received an authorization from Lord Hagen himself to bear the Eye of Enos. I am afraid that I have to disappoint you. We have fallen victim to a treacherous plot of the enemy. The Eye of Enos has been violently taken from these sacred walls.
Who did this?
Evil is cunning, and usually works in secret. Only rarely do you see it emerge to pursue its evil machinations in broad daylight. But these days, it's a different matter. The enemy now shows himself openly in the street, in every home and every public square. This can only mean that he no longer fears any adversary and is not going to shrink back from anything. One of our most faithful followers, a candidate for the high robe of the Magicians of Fire, has changed his allegiance unexpectedly, and in an alarmingly evil manner. Pedro. The enemy has taken possession of him, thus inflicting a terrible defeat upon us. Pedro has forced his way into our most sacred halls and stolen the eye. I fear that he simply spent too much time by himself, outside of the gates, and thus beyond the protective walls of the monastery, exposed to all lurking dangers.
Where did the thief flee to?
Pedro knocked down some of the other novices who tried to stop him and disappeared into the morning mist. Many novices have gone after him to bring the eye back to its place unharmed. If you want to catch up with him, you need to hurry before Pedro disappears out of your reach.
Some citizens of Khorinis have mysteriously disappeared.
Take your tribute to Gorax at the monastery at once. He will handle it further.
The same is true for the investigation of the unusual earthquakes in the northeastern regions of Khorinis. So far, I have not received notice that our intervention would be required. Therefore, we are not going to take any steps in this matter.
Yes, but
No buts. We shall proceed as we see fit, and I hope even you are going to respect that.
I've come from the old Valley of Mines.
What do you have to report?
The enemy has formed up there with an army of orcs and dragons.
We have already learned that from Milton. But what about the king's shipment of ore?
The mine they are digging for Garand in the valley cannot satisfy the demands of the king.
The days are becoming grayer, and the light of the sun is ever weaker.
I was attacked by men in black robes.
I know. Those are the Seekers, henchmen from the nether realms of Beliar. Beware of them. They will try to take possession of you. Once possessed, you will no longer be yourself. Only here in the monastery could you find help then, so be careful. Here, this rune will bring you directly back to the monastery if you need our help. Remember, we must offer resistance or we shall all be doomed.
What about a little blessing? I could surely use it.
May Enos stand between you and harm on all the unholy paths you will have to walk.
One more thing. Some of the roadside shrines dedicated to Enos have been desecrated by the enemy. They have lost their magical consecration.
I see. And now?
It is up to you to purify these shrines so that the situation does not escalate. Take this holy water and trickle it on the base of the shrine. With the holy words of purification, the shrine will regain its old power. Here is a map for you. The shrines which we have set up are marked on it. Now, go and perform your tasks.
Is there anything else you want to tell me?
Dismissed. You know what you have to do.
You don't have to ask me that.
Same old thing all over again.
Hey!
I never would have thought.
How's it going?
I thank Enos that I can be here in the monastery. sooner or later.
You know,
How's it
that's
going?
me.
I thank Enos that I can be here. I used to say that myself.
Can't go on like this forever.
Hey, you!
Path of virtue is long.
What are you planting here?
We're trying to grow healing plants that Master Neoras can use to brew potions.
Path of virtue is long and rocky.
So, how's it going?
Oh, thank you for your concern, Sir Paladin. I enjoy the work, and I am certain to be selected as a magician soon.
That's nothing new.
That's no secret.
Can I be of assistance to you?
What's your task here?
My tasks are many and varied. Not only am I the steward, but I am also the treasurer. Moreover, I supervise the wine cellar, and I'm in control of the monastery's food supplies. So, if there's anything you need, you can always come to me and get it. For a modest contribution, that is.
I need a few things.
I used to say that myself.
Hey, you!
What? What's wrong? Why are you bothering me? Can't you see I'm in the middle of an extremely complicated experiment?
I didn't mean to disturb you.
You already have. Well, what do you want?
Can I learn from you?
I shall instruct you in the secrets of alchemy.
Could you brew me a potion?
Do you doubt my abilities? I can brew any potion.
Fine.
Not so fast. Naturally, you must bring me the ingredients and pay a small fee for expenses, as well as for the materials.
How much do you ask?
For the brewing itself, I charge 10 gold pieces.
Brew me a potion of great speed.
All right. Do you have the ingredients and the gold?
Yes, here.
Good, thanks. I shall give you a potion now, then you won't have to wait so long.
Been there, done that.
I'll never get this open without the right key. I'll never get this open without the right key.
You are not permitted to go further. Turn back.
He really should have known better.
What room is this?
This is where they keep the holy relics of the monastery.
What relics?
Here rests the hammer of Enos, along with the shield of fire. These are the most important relics of Church of Enos, outside the capital of the realm.
Tell me about the shield.
The shield of fire was borne by Dominic in the battle on the Southern Isles. But the power of the shield is never to be wielded again. Therefore, we have nailed it to the wall.
Tell me about the hammer.
This is the sacred hammer of Enos. With this hammer, Saint Robar slew the stone sentinel. The Holy Scriptures say that the stone sentinel was invulnerable. He stood in battle like a tower, and the weapons of his enemies were smashed on his skin of stone. With the name of Enos on his lips, Robar hurled himself at the monster and crushed it with one mighty blow of his hammer.
What are you doing here?
I must not speak with you. It's not looked on with favor if we talk to strangers.
That's just what I said.
That doesn't sound terribly happy.
Well, I mean, everything is just fine, really. Only, I don't want to complain.
You should have known better.
Oh, come on, you can tell me.
And you really won't tell the magicians?
Do I look like I would?
All right. I have a problem with one of the novices. He's got a hold over me.
Come on, spit it out then.
Igaraz, that's the novice, found some of my private papers. He threatened to give them to the magicians if I don't do what he says.
That's just what I said.
What kind of documents are those?
That's nobody's business. It's entirely my affair.
Come on, tell me.
They are entirely normal documents. Nothing special.
I won't ask any further.
You don't have to tell me that.
What are you supposed to do for him?
I don't want to talk about it. In any case, it isn't pleasing to Enos. I don't want to think what would happen if it came out.
That was no big deal.
Maybe I can help you.
You would do that?
Well, that depends, of course.
Naturally, I'd pay you for that.
How much?
Of course, I don't have much money, but I could give you a spell scroll. I have a healing spell.
He thinks it's as easy as that.
I'll see what I can do.
Honestly, it just has to work. It has to. So, you only need to find out where Igaraz keeps the stuff. Then you swipe it from him, and everything will be just fine.
Relax. You just continue for now. I'll see to the rest.
I used to say that myself.
Those are all just rumors.
I'll never get this open without the right key.
Enos deals out fair punishment.
Who told you that?
Hey, what can I do for you?
We need to talk about Babo.
Yes? What's wrong?
You've got something which belongs to Babo.
What might that be?
A few papers. Babo would like them back.
He would, wouldn't he? I can imagine. Unfortunately, I prefer to keep them, which brings us to a bit of a dilemma.
What was Babo supposed to do for you?
If I had known the baby would do it in his pants over a few swamp weeds, then I would have seen to it that someone else took care of the monastery garden.
He's supposed to grow swamp weed?
Of course. Since none of that stuff comes out from behind the barrier anymore, the price in the city has tripled. It could have been a good bargain for everyone involved. But Babo didn't want to play along.
Nobody ever asks me.
How are the sheep?
How do you think they are? They stand around and munch grass. I'd rather know what's happening outside. The magicians seem to be very nervous.
Should have known better.
I couldn't get away.
Pedro betrayed us.
I'd heard that, but I didn't know that you were aware of that too. That's why I didn't say anything. Is the enemy stronger than us? I mean, can we defeat him?
We're not dead yet.
Only Enos decides what's right or wrong.
Strangers in black robes roam the countryside.
What do you mean? What sort of strangers?
Nobody knows where they've come from. They wear long black robes and they cover their faces. They seem to be some kind of magician. At least they're capable of magic.
That sounds very disturbing, but I'm sure that the High Council will solve this problem.
That will never change.
There are dragons in the Valley of Mines. They are besieging the royal troops together with the army of orcs.
Dragons? I always thought they only existed in horror stories.
They're there, believe me.
But the king's paladins will deal with them, won't they?
We'll see.
I used to say that myself.
That's totally obvious.
Welcome, my son. Since when are you one of the paladins?
You don't have to ask me that.
Only for a short time.
Then I bid you welcome. In this battle, we need every man who has the courage to oppose evil. The fate of us all lies in the hands of men like you. May Enos ever give you the courage you need.
That was no big deal.
What's your job here?
I prepare the paladins for their fight against evil.
What is evil?
Evil is everywhere. It is the power of Beliar, the eternal adversary of Enos. It is the all-encompassing blackness which seems to blot out the light of Enos forever. Beliar is the lord of darkness, of hate, and of destruction. Only those among us in whose hearts burns the holy fire of Enos will bear the radiant light of Enos into the world and banish the darkness.
Been there, done that.
Anything's possible.
But there are only magicians and novices living in the monastery.
That is correct, in contrast to our community which honors the word of Enos. The paladins honor the great deeds of our Lord above all else. We are the representatives of Enos, but the paladins are his warriors, who go into battle in his name and increase his glory.
Those are all just rumors.
Can't rely on that.
Is there anything you can teach me?
I am an expert in the magic of ice and the magic of thunder. I can teach you their power. However, I only instruct magicians.
I've heard about this before.
Enos deals out fair punishment.
What can you teach me?
Naturally, I cannot teach you your combat skills. I can, however, bring the essence of Enos and his gifts closer to you. Besides, it is my task to prepare you for the consecration of the sword.
And the magic?
Here we teach only our magic. You must learn the magic of the paladins in the city.
What do you mean by that?
When Enos had to leave our world, he left humankind a part of his divine power. Only a few of us humans are allowed to use his power and to oversee justice in his name.
And what do you want to bring closer to me?
I can set you on the right path to recognize the essence of Enos and follow him.
That's totally obvious.
What's the consecration of the sword?
The consecration of the sword is one of the paladin's most sacred rituals. During this ceremony, the holy power of Enos flows through the blade of the paladin's sword and gives the sword undreamed of powers. A sword so consecrated is a paladin's most valuable possession and will accompany him his whole life long.
Maybe later.
You are heartily welcome here anytime.
You
don't have to tell me that.
As if I don't have enough problems.
Any news?
Yes, the enemy has succeeded in planting a traitor in our sacred halls. He has stolen the Eye of Enos, one of our most important artifacts, and that is only the tip of the iceberg. The enemy has apparently already entered the city.
What do you mean?
One of the paladins, Lothar, was murdered in the street. In broad daylight. It has gone too far, but I fear that is only the beginning.
That's just what I said.
What's gonna happen now?
We will pursue the thief no matter where. We will hunt him down and see to it that he receives his just punishment.
For that, we would need to know first who the thief is.
We will soon find out, and no matter how long it takes us, we shall find him. This I swear by Enos.
As if I don't have enough problems.
Where did the thief go?
I don't know that. He rushed to the gate like he was possessed and then disappeared. No matter where he hides, under what rock he crawls, the wrath of Enos will strike him and scorch his black soul.
Bennett is innocent. The witness lied.
How do you know that?
I have found proof.
Sometimes I think that treason and greed are our greatest enemies.
No one must violate the divine order.
He really should have known better.
Nobody ever asks me.
For Enos, brother. If you have come to learn something about the consecration of the sword, then ask Marduk.
Sooner or later.
That's just what I said.
It's no secret. That isn't true.
That's nothing new.
That isn't true.
Can't go on like this forever.
You don't have to tell me that.
You should have known better.
Hey,
You really should have known better.
I've got your documents.
Really? Oh, thanks. You've saved me. I don't know how to thank you.
Yeah, just calm down.
Are they really mine? Are you sure? Show me.
Later.
You should have known better.
I'm gonna keep them a while longer.
What?
Say that myself.
What's that supposed to mean? What are you planning? I told you that before.
That's my own business.
The documents belong to me. You don't have the right to keep them.
See ya.
Been there, done that.
I never would have.
I used to say that myself.
There have been all kinds of wars.
I couldn't get away with that.
That'll only cause more trouble.
That will never change.
You already know what I think.
Can't rely on that.
No one must violate the divine order.
I'm staying out of it.
Why haven't I heard about this before?
You don't have to tell me that.
Hey,
As if I don't have enough.
are you satisfied with your task?
It's all right, but I need to get back to work. I don't want to work half the night again in order to finish my obligation and stay out of trouble.
Really should have known better.
So it says in the scriptures.
I'm staying out of it.
Better watch out who you tell that to.
Can't rely on that.
You already know what I think.
He thinks it's as easy as that.
I always act in the name of Enos.
It had to happen sooner or later.
Do you really think?
That's no secret.
Nobody ever asks me.
I used to say that myself.
So it says in the scriptures.
Same old thing all over again.
I always act in the name of
Been there, done that.
Those are all just rumors.
No idea, you tell me.
Hey, you!
What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be on your way and looking for the underhanded traitor Pedro?
He's not gonna get very far.
I hope so for your sake. If he should escape because you've been lollygagging here, I will personally drag you before the tribunal.
What would you accuse me of?
Conspiracy with the enemy. It takes little imagination to picture the punishment for such an offense. And now, see to it that you lose no more time. Otherwise, the next time we meet, it will be at the stake.
Hey, you!
You know everything you need to know. Now, be on your way.
Hey, you!
I am Master Highglass, guardian of the fire and keeper of the knowledge.
What are you studying, Master?
My research focuses on fire, the power of Enos. It is his gift and at the same time a mighty weapon, and I create runes which contain his power.
Any news?
Yes. Well, you've probably noticed those black-robed figures.
I've met them.
This brings us to the core of the matter. At the moment, we're observing a very rare constellation of stars. To be more exact, the sign of the ox currently stands in direct correlation with the sign of the warrior. I suppose you know what that means.
Well, to be honest...
Yes, I see. Well, I cannot explain the entire background to you now, but it definitely signifies a great change, and I do not like change. Therefore, I want you to get me a book from town. It's called The Divine Power of the Stars. You may have to rummage around for it a bit, but I'm sure you'll find it.
What's in it for me?
What do you mean?
I'd like to know what you'll give me if I bring you the book.
Nothing. What were you expecting to get? If you have time to run an errand in town for me, it's even your duty to help me.
Scriptures.
Same old thing all over again.
You should have known better.
Are you satisfied with your task?
It's all right, but I need to get back to work. Otherwise, I'll never get finished today. I don't want to work half the night again in order to finish my obligation and stay out of trouble.
What with?